Welcome to Jtwes Reviews. I do a few of these from time to time, guys. For my folks that are subscribed to the channel, they've seen them, and we get a lot of new first-time subscribers. So if you like what you see, maybe stick around and watch some of the rest of the channel. I think you might like it. We do a lot of gardening and what have you. I bought a lawnmower, and a little bit about me. I'm born in the 70s, early 70s. It's like 71. But you know, I grew up, guys, we didn't have a lot of yard. I mow 6.5 acres now. Maybe 6.5 by the time I count some of my other stuff other than my yard. Hills, as you can see from the introduction of the video, hills, and you know, I've just moved up over the years. When I was little, a gallon jug would mow all what we had with a little, I don't know, Mary push mower or something. And as time goes on, you get more and more yard. I wound up with about 8 years ago, a Hustler Raptor SD. Not taking anything from zero turns, but they were just not for me, and at least on the property that I mow. So it was probably 90% property and 20% me not really knowing maybe how to really get a zero turn to do what I wanted it to do. I feel like I can drive equipment pretty good. I mean, I don't think I'm a rookie at it, but I'm not no expert either. But having said that, I always fought tooth and nail with that Hustler. The things you just seen me do on that hill, I never could have done with that Hustler. Just bar none, never could have done it. Would have slid right down the hill. It would have never held that, what I just did. Which brings me to this Cub Cadet. I had been eyeballing it for a while. Been watching it and been reading a few things and seen that, you know, it had this steering wheel, and I kept hearing people talk about how it stays on a hill. People would call it, you know, stick like a billy goat on a hill, things like that. And this particular one, so a little bit about it is, it's the Pro Z series. It's a Pro Z 900. But you could actually say 972 because it's a 72-inch deck where they have a 960. It's a 972S, and I guess is single or for steering wheel. And the SD would be for dual wheel wheels. Well, I see a lot of videos on the dual rear wheel one. I'll get that out. It's a tongue twister for me. And I didn't see that many on the single rear wheel. It's a big old wide tire. I mean, I can't imagine those duals being a whole lot more wider than this. They're probably out to here, which is, you know, obviously they're not going to come past the mowing deck, so it's not going to be that much further than these right here because it's not going to come past that mowing deck. But after driving this thing and mowing with it, and by the way, guys, we found the most shadiest spot we could on a 100-degree day to do this review. My first impressions of it, I just can't believe how it sticks on a hill. It's amazing to me. It's back to the benefits of a riding lawn tractor. Like, I used to mow a lot of ground with a buddy of mine's John Deere 430 diesel, had a little Yanmar diesel, and that bugger, it'd stick on hills and it would, you know, it wouldn't slide much or anything. So it has the benefits and the power of that mower, but also the benefits of a zero turn. And when they say zero turn, that steering wheel, to me, as far as I can tell, I didn't put a ruler on it. I can't see where it took anything away from how sharp it will turn. I just don't see it. I can't see where it took any distance away from how much it will turn around either direction. And a lot of times when you turn that sharp with a zero turn, I noticed if I was turning left, that tire was just sitting there sliding. With this one, you can turn it as sharp as you can, and it's still got a little bit of roll to it. So it's not that just to be honest with you guys, not that I care about turf tearing up here, because I have wild grasses. I don't have, what is that noise? Little singing noise on this thing. I have wild grasses. I don't have fescue, so it doesn't really hurt my feelings if it tears up a little bit of crabgrass. But anyway, it doesn't. I thought to myself, I said, why has John Deere or some of these other big manufacturers, you know, Grasshopper and Hustler, and in which I know Hustler's part of the Cub Cadet family now, but I'm saying before they were acquired by Stanley Black & Decker, why didn't they come out with a steering wheel model? And I got to looking into it, and I seen a couple of videos that may have explained it. Cub patented this deal here. They patented it pretty tight. I mean, they patented it about like ketchup bottle, I guess. I don't know. It's a pretty tight patent on it. And so that could be a reason. As far as me, guys, I was thinking, I just don't understand why this mower with this steering wheel is not like the most popular thing out there. Now, you know, you don't have to, let me mention this before I forget on the Cub, you don't have to get the Pro Series to get this steering wheel. They have this capability in their homeowner line. Being that I, you know, wait 8-10 years, hopefully, and I hope this one takes me further than that, to get a mower, I did want the Pro line, because I am on some rough stuff down here, and I really, it's not that I drive it hard or drive it fast, I just need it to hold up because I am mowing some real rough ground. A little bit about this mower, and I got a cheat sheet here, guys, just so I don't get things mixed up, and it's a lot to remember. It's kind of new to me. And like I said, this is a first impression video, but Kawasaki engine, 999 cc's. I don't know why they just didn't do one more, but that's okay. 2 fuel tanks on each side. It's 7.45 gallons apiece, 38.5 horsepower on this engine, and let me mention that it is fuel injection, so that's pretty nice. You know, the auto choke and stuff I don't really care about. The hydro gears, 16cc hydro gear 5400. That's the biggest hydro gear they put in this. Now they do put a little bit of different gear in the dual wheel version, but this is their biggest hydro gear. 14-mile-an-hour top speed, and it will do it. It will absolutely do it. I went up the road in it the other day, and it's as fast as my farm-all tractors. Of course, this one's a 72-inch deck. You guys heard about the 7-gauge this and that. I'm not going to bore you with it, but it has the 7-gauge decks, and a lot of guys, you know, may even not sure what the 7-gauge means. It's a fabricated deck. It was put in a jig and welded together. All right, any other, the high back seat, the air ride, which I'll show you in a second, the padded armrest, 26 by 12 tires. So I'm assuming this is 26, maybe around, and 12 across. Yeah, that's probably about right. Turf tread. And of course, I like this. And let me mention this before I put this paper down. A 3-year no hour limited warranty, and or 5-year 1,200 hour warranty. I got to figure out what the and or is, but it's got some real nice warranty on it. We're going to sit this over here and we'll talk about a few of these features. All right, so the tilt steering, if you're on it, and I'll just get on it and show you here. Tilt steering, you get up here like this, and you would just pull it to you and pull it down where you want it, just like that. This is something I have to get used to, the forward and the reverse pedal. I'm still working with that. As I get more and more, I'll get better with that. The fuel over here, ignition over here to crank it up, and it has what I like is what they're calling, you'll notice it's 3.1 hours on it. What I like is what they call a soft PTO, and I assume the softness on it means that it doesn't hit so hard, because I notice it comes in, it hits, but then it comes in a little bit afterwards. It doesn't hit real hard, so I really like that. We got seat belts that you probably should use. I don't, but I really can up under these limbs, but seat belts you probably should use with the roll bar all the way up. The seat will let the air out of it, and then you have to have the switch on to pump it back up. And as you're pumping it back up, it'll raise you up in the air, and you can, I pretty much run it with probably what would be considered a full bag of air is what I run it. it has an independent suspension up front. So that suspension, as you're mowing along, will do that right there. That is super, super nice. I can really tell it. It's got some dampeners on this also, and I can really feel those dampeners kicking in. Because again, guys, like I said, and I've told people, and I will say this, this is a video I'm making because I'm excited about this mower. I haven't even talked to Cub other than the dealer that I got it from. So this is nothing to do with Cub, nothing to do with them. I'm just super excited. And not to mention, if you've watched the channel, you kind of know I'm partial to International. And we know that just about all the bloodline of International, other than the color of the paint, has gone out of Cubs. But being as that they were part of International at one time, still holds a soft spot in your heart. But it's better to let that up to get off. The steering, and here's some of that stuff that I'm sure is really, really patented, is the way this steering does. And it takes the input from your steering wheel and applies it to the hydro gears in the back. And that's what makes you steer. And I assume that's where they get four-wheel steering from, because you're steering here, and also your back wheels are doing some steering for you, which would be like a zero turn. They're making the input of what makes it go, you know, around and stuff. We got a nice little parking brake on here. I enjoy that pretty good. I do use that if I'm having to stop on a hill, because if you let all the way off on that, it'll roll forward or backwards, depending on which direction you are. And it's, if you need to stop, you can just pull up on that handbrake there. I meant to show you while I was up here, and I'll show you while Sammy's standing there. The deck, and here was what I was worried about. I was worried, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, my knees ain't the greatest no more. And the Hustler raised up from this right side right here. And I get over some of these stumps sometimes around these trees, and I need to raise it up just a little bit. And it hurt. I mean, it's like I'm putting all the deck on me to raise it up. And it's only a 54-inch deck on that Hustler. This is a 72-inch deck. And I was worried, man, I might not be able to raise this deck up. But I literally can leave the bottom of my foot planted and raise this deck up, which, let me unlock it here so you guys can fully see it. It is so easy. I guess they have a larger helper spring on it, but it is not a whole lot of effort to push that deck up in the air. They also have a lot of positions here. It's going to go from 1 inch to 5 inches. And it's a little mixing up, you know, it mixes me up a little bit because I'm used to stuff in numerical order. But I'm sure it's a reason why they have it like that. But we run it on 2.5 inches is what I run it on. That's probably pretty close. It's probably closer than what most people run. But again, I'm clipping 90% crabgrass and not fescue, so I don't worry about that. You can take these off and blow your spindles off. Don't make the mistake I made with the Hustler when I first got it, and it took me about a year to learn it until the bearings went out on it, which was my fault. I washed that deck every time I used it. I'd take the water hose and wash all the grass out from under the deck and everything. And turned out that water would get into those sealed bearings, and it ruined them. But anyway, so I did buy a DeWalt, by the way, which my favorite tool is DeWalt anyway. It's what I use on my public job. I got a DeWalt blower, and we blow this one off. We're not going to do the water. Speaking of bearings, you know, I just mentioned that, and I noticed I did watch a review where I think a guy had kind of got a lot of folks got on them about having sealed bearings. And you know, guys, I'm willing to trust manufacturing processes. Would it be nice to have greased bearings? I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of greased bearings go out on combines, so I've seen it go both ways. I mean, I've greased combines, I've greased hay mower conditioners, I've greased a lot of equipment that has some fast turning stuff that have grease fittings, and they go out in 2 or 3 years. So I don't know, you know, which is better. I know that, you know, my Dodge trucks on the front, they're sealed bearings on those things. Well, at least my Ram 1500 is. I'm not sure about the 2500. You know, Will's Dakota, my son's Dakota, 98 Dakota, it has a sealed hub on it, and it's 300,000 miles. I mean, I can't imagine. You know, I think maybe if you keep them out of the rain, keep the dust blowed off of them, I think they'll probably do pretty good for you. I don't think you'd have a lot of problems. I can't imagine the cost difference between one that's sealed and one that has a greasable fitting is so much difference, where Cub Cadet said, you know what, we just can't afford the grease fittings. It's just no way. I'm sure they looked at it both ways, and it's probably more expensive for the seal bearings, the truth be told. But anyway, that's my thought on bearings, and you may disagree, and that's fine, guys. You know, it doesn't bother me that there's seal bearings on here. I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine. I love the turf tires up front. Gives you a little grip turning. And like I said, the operator station is pretty cool. Cup holder, which I'm not much on putting cups on here. I guess it's okay. It will adjust. So if you got one of those Yeti cups, 30 ounce, you know, you can get the bottom of it in there and then raise this up to the larger portion, and it holds that good. I've used, this tank's full. I've used that tank. Is all I've used so far. You stay right there, Sammy. I'm gonna raise the seat up. The seat has a lever under here. It always takes me a second to find it. I found it, but y'all don't know I looked for 5 minutes because I edited it out. No, it wasn't 5 minutes, guys, but it was a minute or two. So if you raise it up all the way and kind of push it like that, it'll go down into a little divot right here that you pull up when you let it back down. But this will allow you to get in here with the blower, blow some of this stuff out. There's a wire tie done come loose. I wonder if it was right in there. I don't know. May have been loose from the factory. Let me get my specs on here. There we go. Put that back together. You know, minimal electronics. I say minimal. I mean, it does have, I would imagine this is something for the fuel injection. There's probably some mini computer here. And then some stuff to run the injectors and stuff like that. I plan on servicing all this myself. I do like the fact that they gave me this hose right here to change the oil. That's pretty neat. We may end up taking and lifting this up off of that hose. It's got it pinched just a little bit, so we may end up pulling that up a little bit so it's not so pinched. And it's a good place to change the oil. I was looking here, yeah. So we'll change the oil on it and keep the air filters and stuff done. I love it, guys. It's a wonderful mower. Oh, and I notice you can't see it on camera, but these fans down here keep the hydraulic units cool, and grass gets in the center hub of that fan, and you want to blow that out. So, in closing, do I like my mower? Yes. Does it do everything I ever dreamed? Yes, it does. The 72-inch deck is probably a little big for my yard, not because I don't have enough yard. I don't have enough level yard. Everything is so up and down and hilly, and you know, a little rut here and a rut there. So you know, you can get some scalping pretty easy. I think this thing, it's got a anti-scalping wheel on the bottom that runs about this far, right across the center of the bottom of this thing. You can't really see it. And then of course it's got the wheels up here. So for as bad as my yard is, it's wonderful. It does a real smooth job on it, and can't wait to use it maybe in some bigger flat level yards like the one at my church. In case we mow the yard there, we can do it there. It's a big old field. But I've enjoyed it and thank the Lord for it. And guys, if you did not mind a riding lawnmower, but you kind of hate it that it didn't turn real sharp, and you kind of had to do some, you know, outs and ins to get it to go back. You know, riding lawnmowers just don't turn that sharp. If you like that ride, but you really didn't like how the turning radius, and you like the turning radius of a zero turn, this is your boy. This is the mower. Again, I'm just amazed that it's not the mower of choice for everybody when it comes to mowing. I am truly amazed. But can't say enough good things about it. It's and like I said, we're all not going to agree on it, guys, and that's fine. I don't mind if you have one that you love. You know, honestly, I had it on my mind that I kind of wanted to get one of those Steels, but Steele doesn't really make the thing. Somebody else makes it, and you know, at least Cub Cadet's made in-house by Cub Cadet. It, you know, used to be MTD, and of course Stanley Black & Decker owns them, but they are in-house made. They're not, it's not like they're getting John Deere to make them and paint them yellow, which probably wouldn't be bad. There's nothing wrong with a Deere lawnmower. But I love my Cub Cadet. I've enjoyed it. I've mowed 3.1 hours on it. This is a first impression, but I don't got to use it for a year to know that this thing is going to do what I want it to do. So y'all have a good day. Thank you for tuning in for this, and I appreciate everything. Sammy, can you think of anything before we let them go that I didn't cover? Suspension up front, some body mounts on that seat, air seat, parking brake. I can't think of anything else, can you?
No.
All right. Well, listen, y'all have a good week, a good day. God loves you. God bless you. We'll see you.